The summer passed, fall and winter soon followed, and the farmers began their annual tradition of hard work. They were hopeful for a prosperous harvest year. Dr. Douglas Hartford, Dr. Hart, was new to town. He was a seasoned general practitioner who had hoped to start a new life in the small yet growing community. He was tall, slender, and very cordial. Because he was single, he was quite the subject of conversation among the women in the town. He knew it and took the time to speak to everyone. The previous doctor had grown older and wanted to retire. He placed an ad and Dr. Hart's credentials fit best. With only a week of overlap, the two talked for days on end about each of the older doctor's soon-to-be old patients, Dr. Hart's new patients. Day and night they were at it. The older doctor felt confident that Dr. Hart would know most of the townspeople, if not by their descriptions then upon their initial meeting. The good old doctor made sure to provide Dr. Hart with a description of one of the farmers in particular, the P.O. and his family, for his additional situational awareness. You will make occasional house calls to the P.O.'s farm. Though rare, when you do, he asks for care for his entire family. That's reasonable. Yes, said alone it does. His family means everyone on the farm, which includes his slaves as well. Many of the other farmers don't particularly like that. You'll have to maintain neutrality as best you can. I see. Can I be honest with you? Yes you can. I am really leaving and there is very little you can say that can change my mind at this time. I have nothing against African people and slaves. They're people just like you and me. I think they all deserve care. It will be my honor to do so. I agree, but keep that thought to yourself. It can make it very frustrating for you here. I get it. I must remember where I am, but I also must uphold my physician's oath along with my personal and moral code. Yes, exactly. So, the P.O.'s family is located in the northeastern part of town. The house ladies play a huge role on the farm. She's the one who communicates with the slaves and sees to them on behalf of the P.O. The P.O. has 2 boys and 2 girls. His wife is rarely seen off the farm, but she's quite lovely and a beautiful woman. The older doctor left some parting words, some antidote, and set out for a retired life the very next day. The next 2 harvests went perfectly for the town. Everyone was content. All farms were thriving. Following the second harvest, a string of cold spells swept through the town. As in past years, the P.O.'s farm was least impacted, if at all. Contempt began to swirl around the town's people. Dr. Hart was a busy man. He had been to more sick calls this fall season than he had in the previous 5 to 6 years of his career, including time before his arrival into the town. Fortunately, the sickness was nothing that he could not help to remedy. Bed rest was the largest part of the recovery plan, along with minimal medicine. The sickness mostly impacted the slaves and those who worked outside, mostly men. One day, while at one of the 4 popular farmers' property, the farm owner, Mr. Hare, had a brief conversation with the doctor. "My dear doc, you've been quite busy caring for my slaves so that we can prepare for winter and eventually the spring planting season." "Well, yes, I have to, and I love what I do. It's been very busy and fulfilling." The older doctor, the previous doctor, made me aware of the typical seasonal illnesses, and I'm so happy that I took good note. Your slaves will be up and around in no time, and you'll have another great spring planting season followed by a great late summer, early fall harvest. We had 2 good years. I was hopeful for a third, but it does not appear that it will be. I feel anxious that it may only be a hope. These are the highs and lows of living off the land. I suppose this is true. The good Lord never gives more than we can bear. Say, Doc, have the other owners had similar bouts with illness among your slaves? Mr. Hare was searching for a particular answer. He was fishing for a very specific response. He had and always had a communicative relationship with the other farmers. They all had slaves with similar ills. What he was truly wondering was how were the P.O.'s slaves, his family, coping with the seasonal illness. Well, the other farm owners, Clark, Connor, and Eastland, have had the same type of issue. And the P.O.'s farm, surprisingly, I've had no calls from their farm. The older doctor told me that they are pretty self-sufficient for medical care and call on us only when they need us. After he said that aloud, the doctor immediately regretted saying a word. The older doctor was very specific about ensuring never to discuss the various farms' care. In years past, there was strife and it nearly caused a hostile takeover of the P.O.'s farm. Luckily, P.O. was a true statesman and de-escalated the situation. Realizing that he was finished with the house call and not wanting to reveal any additional information, Dr. Hart quickly dismissed himself. Well, give the slaves lots of water and minimize workload and shed chores to ensure they recover completely and quickly. Will do, Doc. Hey, do you like roast? Sure. When I bring payment tomorrow, I will also drop off some of my wife's tasty roast stew. That'll be fine, mighty fine. Wanting to know more about the P.O.'s farm, the next day the doctor went to make a house call and make P.O. aware of his services in case he found that his plantation needed them, and also just to be neighborly. As he approached the entrance of the farm, he was warmly greeted by the P.O.'s extended family, the slaves. Dr. Hart enjoyed seeing slaves being treated humanely. This was in contrast to the other farm. From the distance, the doctor saw a black cat looking at him intently, then run inside. Very soon after, a beautiful black woman came outside with stunning brown eyes. The cat stood at her side. Hannah extended a warm welcome to the guest. Welcome, fine sir, to the P.O.'s farm. Is there anything I can help you with, or shall I fetch him? Pardon me for saying this, ma'am, but you're a beautiful woman. Thank you, kind sir. Do you wish to pick some vegetables from our reserve? They are quite fresh. How can I be of service to you? I may take you up on that offer. There was a matter that I wanted to speak to the owner of the property about with regards to the slaves. Sorry to interrupt you, kind doctor. Mr. P.O. refers to us all as his family. There are no slaves here. We are all free. We can come and go as and if we please. We choose to stay here because outside of the farm, there are mean people and life's opportunities don't necessarily exist. We would likely succumb to the outsider's laws and desires. We happily call this home since we can no longer call the northeastern coast of Africa home. My apologies, my apologies. If you promise not to share it, I too believe in freedom. However, I am not a politician, just a humble doctor. As such, I hold those thoughts closely inside. Hannah the house slave smiled. I have kept you long enough. I should fetch the P.O. for you. In a short time, a mid to late 40s, very handsome white man came out of the door onto the porch. He placed his hat on his head and walked down the 7 steps and extended his hand with a smile. Hi, doctor. Dr. Hart. Welcome, Dr. Hart, to this town and my farm. I think I'm about 2 years late with that greeting. Dr. Hart chuckled. That's quite fine. You have not needed me and I had no reason to come calling. Finished with the introductions and pleasantries, P.O. spoke to Dr. Hart. How can I help you, doctor? There has been a rash of sick slaves. Dr. Hart caught himself mid-sentence. He hesitated, paused, and rephrased what he intended to say. Many farm workers are getting sick. It's nothing serious but consistent among the people who work frequently outside. I see. Is it contagious or seasonal? I suspect it's seasonal. No one has died. Just fever and upset stomach are the typical symptoms. Again, it's nothing serious to worry about. And you came by to tell me what exactly? I was wondering if any of your family needed my services. Oh, the P.O. laughed. No, all of my family sleeps in a warm bed at night. They wear proper clothes in colder weather and they eat and rest well. So far, they've maintained and remained in great physical health. If only all the other farmers were like you. Did Hannah offer you any fresh vegetables or perhaps a glass of water? She did offer vegetables and I would love to take a few with me. I would also love to have a cup of water before I head back into town. Hannah! Please prepare a cup of water for Dr. Hart and have my lovely wife bring it out so she can meet him. Ask her to bring a sack with her as well. Tell her that I ask with extra love. The P.O. laughed and smiled as he said this because he knew his wife did not like to be ordered around or disturbed once she was doing something. He was hopeful she would understand that he wanted to introduce her to the new town doctor. Let's see these vegetables. The PO took the doctor into an outdoor cool house where the workers had stacked the vegetables. The doctor had never seen such an organized place. The hanging and curing meats were in one section, eggs in another, and seasonal fruit and vegetables were organized as well. Everyone on the farm was allowed to come and go as needed into the cool house. Workers alternated between the field and the cool house duty. In awe of what he saw, the doctor made a comment to the PO. "This is perfectly organized. I owe it to one of my extended family members. He came up with the idea and we fashioned it. In the fall and winter, excess fruit and vegetables from the summer, not made into preserves, are stored over there." The PO pointed to another section in the cool house. The doctor's back was to the door as he looked around. Both the PO and doctor heard the door open. In walked the PO's wife, and he instinctively turned around to greet her. "Hi, you must be Dr. Hart. Welcome to our plantation. How do you like our cool house?" The PO's wife had her hand and arm extended with a glass of cold ice water and a sack laying across her forearm for Dr. Hart. The PO grabbed the water and the sack from his wife and gave her a loving peck on the lips. Dr. Hart turned around to greet the PO's wife. I'm in awe. It is quite something. It allows us to have almost any fruit, vegetable, and meat almost any time of the year." Yes, I can see that. Dr. Hart grabbed the sack of water from the PO. He gulped down the water. "My, you were very thirsty. Shall I fetch you another glass? Or perhaps have Hannah bring it out? I'm feeling rather tired. It's been quite a long day." This was perfect. If you all don't mind, I will take you up on your offer of vegetables and be on my way. As I told your husband, lots of workers, outdoor workers, have been getting ill, and I want to extend my services to you all if needed. I must be on my way though. I'm sure I'll have several notes waiting for me upon my return from the other farms and other local communities. The doctor placed a small amount of various types of fruits and vegetables into his sack. "Thank you both so much." The three of them exited the cool house into the afternoon sun, where the PO extended a farewell greeting. "Thanks for stopping by. Feel free to come again, perhaps on a non-professional visitation, and play horseshoes or dice." "That sounds great." As the doctor walked away, he blinked his eyes several times in the light of day as if to moisten them. His eyes were often dry, and blinking them provided some moisture and a measure of relief. He turned back around and saw them holding hands and waving goodbye to him with their alternate hands. They looked so genuinely happy. He continued to walk and neared the farthest, most point of the farm, where he stopped and looked over his shoulder again and waved one last time. He saw a cat near Mr. and Mrs. PO, and he also saw the two of them wave one final time. The little girl swatted the PO's wife and made an alarming gesture and awkward sound. Dr. Hart saw the cat arch its back and rub the PO's wife's leg, and he heard the cat's hiss. "My love, go inside. I need to grab some preserves. I have something special planned for dinner." The PO's wife went inside the cool house. "My little helper, why are you acting so rude? Tell me what you know. Explain your actions to me so I may see what was so urgent." The little girl did her best to explain. Dr. Hart was shocked by what he had seen. More than halfway from the PO's farm to his office, he reached into the sack and grabbed an apple. He took a bite and smiled. It was so tasty. Finally, at his office, he sat behind his desk in his chair and formulated a plan. It was a plan that would result in the death of the PO's wife and the demise of the farm.